What you're about to listen to is a Bry-Fy production.
Yo, it's Bry-Fy coming live through your Wi-Fi. One-man show, but I'm feeling like a sci-fi. Comic books, video games, catching them all. Pokemon cards stacked, yeah, I'm ready to brawl. From Marvel to DC, I break it all down. Nifty nerd news, got the geeky rundown. Pop culture hits, movies and shows. I stay in the know while the fandom grows. So plug in, tune up, press play, let's ride. This is the Bry-Fy, baby, welcome to the vibe.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bry-Fy podcast. I'm your host, Bry-Fy, your pop culture guy, and today is going to be heavy on the nifty nerd news. Also, I know it's a little late. Been busy, guys. This week's been really, getting ready for, I don't want to say it too loud in case my son's listening, school. He goes back like next week, and he is not ready. He is far from ready. If there's one place my son hates most in the world, it's probably school. Like and it's not even like a real dread. He just doesn't like to go. But it's funny because he does have fun there. His teachers tell us he has fun there. I think it's very stressful at the beginning because, it's a big life change, right? It's a big change in his norm, his day-to-day norm, especially, during the summer. In the summer, oh my God, he gets to wake up whenever he wants to, plays video games, we go out, go have fun in a bunch of places. It's not a very strict schedule with my son during the summertime. So, it's a definite, that's the word I'm looking for, lifestyle change. And so, oh boy, we all dread it. The first day is forever the worst day. He's going to be upset. He's going to cry. And me and my wife are going to cry. It's just how it goes. Then we're going to go home and we're going to take a nice, peaceful nap. That's typically what happens. We go home and we nap. Also, I work that night, I believe, or I'll come off of nights and then go, I'll work the night before, come home, get him all ready to go, and then I'll go into work again that night. So I will definitely be sleeping a lot that day. My wife will be just taking a nap. So yeah, that's what we're getting ready for. We went to the Baybrook Mall south of Houston on I-45. That's kind of like a family tradition of ours to go there now for back to school shopping and things. It's something my wife did with her mother, and just keep it in the family. And it's always been fun. And there's it's funny because if you know Houston and the Baybrook area, that mall has gotten, the mall itself has stayed the same size, but they have put a lot of shops around it, which I didn't even realize how many they have added until we went there this past year. And I was like, Jesus, there's just so much in that area now, which is pretty cool, pretty crazy. And the traffic really wasn't too bad, but we did go on a Wednesday. It was a Wednesday or Thursday, so it wasn't too bad. It was still packed, don't get me wrong, because, everyone's back to school shopping, but I really didn't think it was all that bad. I guess the only other place we could have gone, maybe it was what do they call the Tanger outlets. You can usually find some good stuff at those, but we had enough. The Baybrook Mall was plenty. Got my son everything. Got him a new backpack, a badass backpack that at first he didn't even really want. It was a Legend of Zelda backpack, and we found it at Spencer's Gifts and whatever, and porn, whatever that place is now. But at first we thought he was really going to like. They had a Legend of Zelda backpack. That was the Hylian shield, classic shield, Legend of Zelda, and he loves Link, and he loves the Hylian shield and the Master Sword, and we're like, look, this is gonna be perfect, and he wanted nothing to do with it. But to be fair, it's not a very practical backpack. It fits weird. It's just one giant pocket. Now, don't get me wrong, it looks great, but for school, not a very functional thing. The other Legend of Zelda backpack we found was a more classic backpack style, and Link's classic colors of green and brown, had an awesome Hylian logo on it. Not the shield logo, but just like a Legend of Zelda logo on it, and way more functional as a backpack, has, normal backpack pockets and fits like a normal backpack. So I think that's going to be a good one, which means I get his Pokemon backpack that I can bring to work. So I'm excited about that. Unless he chooses that he'd rather have the Pokemon backpack. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I really want that Pokemon backpack because it's pretty badass. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, what else has been going on with me? Oh, I've been so it's funny because I've been in kind of like old local music scene kick here recently, and I realized on like not on my Spotify, but like on my Apple playlist, or my Apple Music playlist, because I have music that I've had on my phone since I used to have iTunes way back in the day, and I added them way back in the day, but I didn't bring everything over. I kept a lot of it on an iPod. I got like an iPod Classic that I have, and so I didn't have a lot of this old music, this old local scene music. So I was, kind of bummed about that. Well, I found my old iPod Classic and I hooked it up to my computer, and I found out you can move these files to the computer, and then I can do whatever I want. I can put them on my phone through the Files app and whatever. However, when you do it that way, it doesn't give you any information. It just gives you data. And so I'm clicking on random data files, figuring out what song they are, and then moving them over to my computer, renaming them and things like that. So it's a little tedious because I have to literally go through everything because it's all mixed up, jumbled up, and random. But I've been finding like all the local band music that I've kept throughout the years, and it's been pretty awesome. And what's only made that stronger is recently another local band from my area called Floorbound, which at one point I think they were playing on 94.5 The Buzz in Houston, which was a pretty big deal for us back then. They just recently moved their music to Spotify. So if you look up Floorbound on Spotify, you can listen to like one of the local scene bands when I was growing up, and kind of influenced me and my friends to make music. And well, I can't speak for the rest of the people from my old band, but for me, they're one of my influences locally that I really enjoyed. Sorry, drinking some water. And they recently added their music to Spotify, which kind of made me think, maybe I should reach out to some of my bandmates and see, like, we should maybe just put some of our music on Spotify, because that would be kind of cool, to have like a local scene Spotify playlist. Like, even though like our music wasn't like that perfect, it, had a lot of mistakes and stuff, like it'd just be fun to have, fun to put out there. And what if a new audience finds it and they're like, wow, like it would have been cool to see these guys. Like, now that's just wishful thinking, but it'd be cool. Anyway, yeah, so that's what I've been up to these past couple of days, and I guess last week. Still been playing Kingdom Hearts 1, trying to beat it because my son has demanded it. So I'm on like the second to last battle, which you have to face off against your friend / rival / turned evil person, Riku. And I'm starting to realize why everyone says this is the hardest boss fight in the first Kingdom Hearts game, because it's damn near impossible. The dude goes cocaine ape shit crazy and just starts flying around the map, hitting with all these kind of magic spells that you can't block. Like, I'm sure you could if you were better at the game, but my God, dude, it's absolutely insane. I'm getting murked left and right. My son's laughing, but like, come on, Dad. And I'm just like, I'm trying, son. And I really want to throw my controller through the TV screen, but I also want my son to grow up to be, a not angry gamer. So I'm not letting him see that side of me. So I'm really just trying to internalize the hate and the anger that it brings with me. And I think it's working. But I'm also getting really short with him because I'm really mad. And that's what playing Kingdom Hearts is like. Anywho, that's all I got for what I've been up to this week. Let's move on to some nifty nerd news. All right, guys, up first in the nifty nerd news. It's been kind of crazy, man. Marvel has come out to cancel, scrap, do away with a bunch of planned things, or things that they have announced that they wanted to do. and it's been kind of interesting. Of course, we've seen like Avengers: The Kang Dynasty that kind of fell out, with everything that happened with the actor to portray Kang, the Conqueror. So that one kind of understandable. Then we saw them cancel Armor Wars, which was going to feature, I believe, Rhodes, who plays War Machine in the Iron Man movies and then Avenger movies, which that was kind of interesting. Like, I don't know, like I wanted to see it. I really like War Machine in the comic books. I like his character and how he differs from Iron Man and Tony Stark. And so I really wanted to see how that was going to be played and how it was going to be portrayed. But I also was kind of like, that's fine. Like, I think the world will be okay if we don't get an Armor Wars, as cool as it would be. But then, God, I'm going to say his name so bad because I'm so terrible at it. Mahershala Ali, I believe that's how you say it, and I'm sorry if that's wrong. We'll say Mr. Ali has come out to say, like, he's leaving Blade. Like, he's not going to be in the new Blade movie, and basically because Marvel seems to have no interest in making the Blade movie. Like, they made an announcement, they signed him, and then nothing happened. Nothing moved on, and it just seemed like things were just dead in the water when it came to the Blade movie. And in an interview, Ali made like an actual statement on it, being like, hey, if they wanted to do it, we would have done it. Like, so I don't know if it's really on Marvel and Kevin Feige why this hasn't happened. Kevin Feige blamed basically script delays and the script never coming together, and that, I think he took some blame for that, or like took some responsibility for the blame on that, and feels like a failure feels like he's let people down for not being able to get this thing off the ground. But like, this was something people were pretty excited for, I think. I know I was excited for it. So this was like something that seemed like it was really in the works, seemed like it was really something that was going to happen, something that was going to be done. And now to see Ali come out and say, like, yeah, I'm done. I'm leaving this. I mean, good on him, like, knowing your worth and being like, look, if this thing's not going to be made, it's not going to be made. In fact, he even went on to make another movie with the guy who was going to, I believe, to direct the Blade movie. They were kind of like, well, you know what, we're going to make this other movie. And they did. And that one was pretty good. I think that was the one that's called Your Mother, Your Mother, Your Mother. And it's based out of Houston, if I remember correctly. So that's kind of cool. I haven't seen it yet, but maybe check that out instead of Blade. And then the last one, and the one that hurt me the most, is they canceled season 2 of Wonder Man, which, you've got to be kidding me. Like, Wonder Man was fantastic. Like, this was by far one of my favorite Marvel TV series that they've ever made. I would put that, my favorite was Miss Marvel up until Wonder Man came out. And then Wonder Man was absolutely fantastic because it was such a drastic change from what we'd been seeing with Marvel in their TV series. And I love the actor, what is his name? Yahya Abdul. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so terrible with these names. Yahya Abdul Mateen II. We'll just call him Mateen, Mr. Mateen 2. No, I don't know. The guy who played Wonder Man. No, Mr. Martin. That's what we'll say. He was absolutely fantastic. Who was opposite Ben Kingsley, who was the fake Mandarin in Iron Man, and then came out like, I'm an actor and I took this role as an acting job. And you get more of that in the Wonder Man show. You get more reasoning of why he did what he did in the Iron Man movies. and it's absolutely fantastic, man. It's about, a struggling actor and his relationships with people and his job and trying to make it in the industry. And it's a lot of cool things to watch if you're a fan of like movies and television shows and acting in the acting process. I thought that was a really cool take on everything. Plus, there's a little spin of supernatural powers, superpowers. I don't want to say supernatural. It's not like the show Supernatural, but there's superpowers in it, but not wanted powers, which is a really interesting thing. It's something that Wonder Man's character, God, what is Wonder Man's real name? Or like, not the actor's name, Mr. Abdul Mateen. But God, I can't remember. Okay, so Ben Kingsley was Trevor. I remember that. I'm looking through an ad or an article. What's this one? This one's on Variety, and I'm like, say Wonder Man's name. What the hell is Wonder Man's name? And I can't find it. And they don't say it. They say Trevor's name, which sucks, man. But yeah. So Yaya, or Mr. Abdul Mateen, posted on Instagram, said word just dropped that Wonder Man 2 won't be coming back for season 2. And if you don't know, now you know. That's life, right? Everything will shake out. I wanted to say thank you to everybody who watched the show, enjoyed the show, and shared that they enjoyed the show in some way or another. The show worked, and that's my favorite thing about it. I could see it on the faces of the YouTube reactors because I watched along with y'all this time. Shout out to y'all. And I can see in the messages I get saying how the show reminded some of you not to give up. And I feel it in the genuine love shared when I bump into some of y'all during the day. So thank you all today. I'm glad we got to be a part of something cool. Thank you for watching, and see you at the Emmys. That's what he says. And God, he was so fantastic. Like, he seems like such a cool guy. His character was so fantastic. This sucks, man. Like, what is happening, Marvel? You're taking, like, in Marvel, and like there's other I don't know, man. It's been just cancellation after cancellation, and it kind of sucks, man, because a lot of these projects I was a really big fan of and couldn't wait to see how they panned out. But here we are. I think Wonder Man hurts the most for me out of all of them. I really would have loved to see Blade. That probably would have been my second most anticipated of the ones that were announced. Armor Wars would have been cool, but I was like, I will live. And, we all know about Kang the Conqueror, so we're not going to talk more about that one. That one is steeped in controversy. But what's not controversial? Spider-Man making almost $1 billion globally this past weekend. I think they topped out a little over $930 million, I think, or close to that. Globally, they opened at 90,000 screens worldwide, and it was the second best ever opening for a movie behind another Marvel project. Can you guess? I'll give you a hint. It happened a couple of years ago. Actually, I can't even remember how long. It was Avengers Endgame. We all know the answer to that, which that one was over $1 billion. I think $1.2 billion for Endgame. Infinity War was much smaller than that. But yeah, Spider-Man Brand New Day. $927 million global dollars. That's insane, dude. But Spider-Man's probably like the one, right? Like, this is the superhero movie I think that we're all big fans of course. I was gonna say Tobey Maguire. Tom Holland is like fan favorite casting. He's done such a great embrace of the character, not only in film but in life, doing a lot of cool stuff. And from what I have heard, I have not seen the new Spider-Man movie, but I've heard it is an emotional ride. And I was pretty stoked to see where they were going to go with this one, because No Way Home had such a crazy ending, where no one remembers Peter Parker. Not like no one knows who Spider-Man is anymore, but like no one remembers Peter Parker. And so Peter Parker no longer exists. The love of his life in real life, Zendaya, I mean MJ, doesn't know who he is. His best friend, Ned. I was gonna call him Gonki because he looks like that character from Ultimate Spider-Man. Ned doesn't remember who he is, so it's crazy, man. So we'll see how that all plays out when eventually I get to watch the Spider-Man movie. But congratulations to them making all the money in the world. Yay! Moving on to let's bump to this one. So it looks like they are looking for a new God of War. Currently, it was going to be Ryan Hurst, I believe, was going to play the role, but it appears that he's torn his bicep on the set of God of War, and so instead of waiting for it to heal, Sony has just decided, well, we'll just recast the role, which, I mean, not that Ryan Hurst is a bad actor, but I don't think I saw him in my mind's eye as Kratos from God of War. But rumor is they're talking to Dave Bautista to play the role of Kratos now. And I kind of like that better. Not because he's bald, but like I like Dave Bautista as an actor. I mean, he has lost some weight, so he's definitely going to have to put on some muscle to play the role. But, you know, CGI is a thing, and that could very well just help along the process. But I mean, I know he's older now, but I think he could probably still tone up and get a little bigger. So I'm kind of interested to see where this plays out. Like, how do you handle this changing gears, or like switching gears here after you've already started stuff with one actor and then swap to a new actor? Well, you could ask from advice from the next guy in the next bit of nifty nerd news that we have. See the segue here. You talk to Henry Cavill, who has been, you know, replaced in the Witcher series by a different actor, and he'll probably tell you, you know what, just go off and do the thing you love, which seems to be what he's doing, because now he is going to help produce the Warhammer 40K animated series that's going to be developed at Amazon, and Amazon seems to be doing a pretty good job of making video game movies, or taking, not movies, but like taking video game franchises and making them into series. They've had a pretty good deal with the Fallout series. So I'm kind of interested to see what the Warhammer thing is all about. One, I know Henry Cavill is a huge fan of Warhammer. I've seen it in multiple interviews that he's talked about it, and there's just something that lights up within him when he does talk about Warhammer 40K. And I will say, TikTok has shown me things of Warhammer that I find quite interesting in the lore, and just how fucked up it really is. I mean, there's really only one way to say that. Like, Warhammer's some jacked up stuff, man. There is some crazy things that happen in Warhammer. You don't believe me? Look up like Warhammer 40,000 or 40K lore on YouTube and just start deep diving, man. Some of this stuff is absolutely atrocious, but kind of cool in like a messed up sort of way. It's like an action horror movie, what Warhammer is. And like, I've always been interested in it because like when I go to like game stores and that do Warhammer things, you could see like all the cool figurines that people play with or use as their armies and things, and they look really badass. Like, that's the only thing I have to say. They just look absolutely awesome. And so it'd be really cool to see what they do with someone who is really, and I mean, from what we can tell, Henry Cavill, when he likes something, oh, he really likes it. Like, especially like with the Witcher stuff. And they should just listen to him, because from what it sounds like, Henry Cavill was the only thing keeping The Witcher kind of good. And despite what the actors and producers, or the writers and the producers were trying to do to the show, it seemed like Henry Cavill was doing his absolute best to keep it good. And so, I don't know, we'll see what happens with Warhammer 40K, sorry. You know who's not excited about video game movies and video game shows? That's Edgar Wright, the famously known for like his Scott Pilgrim movie, which funny enough, kind of based off a video game in a way. Like, he has a lot of video game references in that movie. So it's kind of interesting. But he came off to say, like, that basically he doesn't really see the point of video game movies, because in his mind, video games are more meant to be played rather than watched. And I'm here to tell you, Edgar Wright, you have not seen people on the internet because, or like, you don't have a small autistic child like I do, because he loves watching people play video games. No, like, has he seen the Mario movie? The Super Mario movie? I mean, there's a lot of video game movies out there that, yes, are bad. Like, I can concede with that, man. But there are a lot that are good. And I think, like, you can tell different kind of stories set in these universes that are interesting, that maybe you were never going to get with the video games. Look at, like, the Cyberpunk animated show on Netflix. Look at the Fallout story. You're getting a lot of awesome background and lore dumping. And what's been great about, like, Fallout, which they've done, is they've taken ideas that the games were going to do or couldn't do or didn't expand upon because they didn't have time or budget or anything, and tell those stories or put those Easter eggs in there. Like, I feel like there's obviously an audience for it. So for him to be like, nah, I don't know if that's really a great take. Now, granted, look, everyone's opened, or, like, you know, everyone's allowed to have their own opinions on things. And I mean, he certainly has his opinions. He says, the way I feel about video game adaptations on screen, with very few exceptions, is the same way I feel when my brother is showing me him playing the game and me watching. It's not as fun for me as it is for him. And I feel like video games, by their very nature, is that if you are playing a game, you get to be in the thing. You're not just watching it. I think usually they're not a good idea. This game is the ultimate adaptation. Like, the game is the ultimate adaptation. That said, I'm excited to see Resident Evil. Which, for what we've been told, is not anything like the video game. But, like, that's not a bad thing, right? And I mean, I think there's people that do feel that way about video games. Like, it sucks. Like, you brought me over here just so I could watch you play. But then, you know, like, I've always enjoyed watching people play video games. Like, to me, it's fun because then you get to learn some things. Maybe they're showing you some tricks, and then you'll get to go try it out later in your video game. You know, like I mentioned, my son loves watching video game playthroughs and walkthroughs on YouTube. And I know plenty of people that do. Twitch TV is a huge just sit around and watch people play video games. So, like, obviously not everyone feels the same way that Edgar Wright feels about video. Ooh, I'm about to sneeze. We're good. Maybe that was his way of trying to take me out. He doesn't agree with my take, and now I must die. But yeah, man, so I don't know. I don't, like, me personally, I don't agree with Edgar Wright's take on this. I think there are tons of great examples of video game adaptions or TV adaptions of video games that work really well and are very entertaining and have some really entertaining stories to tell about them. I would love to see Red Dead Redemption stuff because I think that would be absolutely fantastic to see. One of my favorite video games, The Division, which was rumored to have a movie at some point, and now it's just been on, like, this indefinite hiatus. Like, I feel like there's a lot of interesting stories in the world of The Division that could be told. We've had failed stories such as Halo, but I think that focused too much on the main character of the franchise and didn't really understand what he was about, and which was ultimately their failings. Maybe if they would have had a Henry Cavill to direct them and lead them in the right direction, that would have been a different story. But then, you know, you've seen things like Forward Unto Dawn, and what was the one with the guy that played Luke Cage? God, I don't remember what that one was called. But, you know, I think when you, I believe telling a story that focuses on a main character of a franchise that you play as is tough. Because then, yes, there's a lot of that insertion that comes through with like, I am this character, and so people play things differently, right? But then when you focus on side characters who, you as a main character might not have a large role to play in or can't really influence them in a heavy way. So, they're very much their own personality and can handle things. Seeing stories about those characters can be more interesting because you don't really put yourself in those characters. So I think there's definitely a right and a wrong way to make a video game or a TV movie adaptation of a video game, which, Edgar Wright could maybe be trying to mention here, but just said it in a bad way. Although it seems like he says he's just bored. Like, why watch it when I can play it? But I don't know. I feel like he's missing the mark here with that, or missing the goal here with that. But who am I? I'm just a random guy who podcasts to like 5 or 6 people a day. You know who's really into video games, though? Other than Edgar Wright, I guess. Guillermo del Toro. He apparently really likes video games. He very much likes a game called Dead Cells, which I don't know anything about and don't know anything to do with. But he does have one critique, and he wants more checkpoints. Because, and you know what, as I've gotten older, I agree with this. He says, elderly players aren't quite as good as we used to be, right? So we need a couple more checkpoints and like closer to, because let me tell you, man, I can't stand it, and Kingdom Hearts is notorious for this. When you die and you have to start back, and they usually take you back to like, your last save checkpoint. Well, sometimes that last save that you had, that last checkpoint that you had, was really freaking far away, and now you have to go through the horde that you just blasted through to try to get back just to the starting point of where you were at, only to get your shit kicked in again to only have to respawn back. So like, yeah, I get it. Like, hey man, give me like a save point before every major battle, right? Or every major fight or puzzle or something. That way when I fail, ultimately I just go back to the very start of this, That's why I like Legend of Zelda so much, because typically when I die in Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, I immediately go back to just right before I was getting my shit kicked in. And I appreciate that. like, because then now I have a choice. Continue to go get blasted or run away. They don't put me in a spot where I'm stuck now in this endless death loop, but they put me close enough where I can choose to enter the death loop or leave the death loop and go get stronger and then come back. Like, I appreciate that. And I think that's all Guillermo del Toro wants. And, as an aging gamer, as someone who's been playing for, I would say at least 20 years now. Well, no, actually, probably closer to 30 years now. Yeah, I've been gaming for a long time, so I've been probably about 30 years is close to how long I've been gaming. I appreciate that, Guillermo, and I agree with you. And maybe others do too. Anyway, the last bit of nifty nerd news that I have for you guys. I know there's so much nifty nerd news. Xbox seems to be taking charge in the console wars here. Sony has been dropping the ball completely, and now Xbox, Microsoft, and Nintendo seem like they're finally capitalizing on this. And I think if things stay as they are and Sony still refuses to add discs and physical media to their gaming, they're going to lose. Nintendo and Xbox are going to take over. And I will tell you right now, Nintendo is a heavy front runner for me because of the Switch 2. Being able to pick up a game, a physical game, or a digital game that I can bounce between my system and my son's. Like, I can share it like a physical cartridge between my console and my son's console. That is a game changer. Not having that game locked to a single Switch is absolutely fantastic. In fact, the other day I wanted to play, I can't remember, was it Advance Wars? Something that I had downloaded on my OLED model Switch. Forgot, I hadn't moved it over to my Switch 2 yet, and I wanted to play it. And my son was playing on his Switch, playing Breath of the Wild. And I was like, man, I probably can't do this because, he's busy playing. I went and it said, it gave me the option to transfer the digital game cartridge to the Switch 2 while my son was still playing Tears of the Kingdom. So I got to pick it up, start playing Advance Wars on my Switch while he was playing Tears of the Kingdom. Felt nothing. He had no idea, basically, that I was doing this. That's amazing. Game changer. Just epic. That is how digital games should be done. Will PlayStation do this? Hopefully they change their mind, but as it stands, it doesn't really seem like that at this moment. Xbox has announced that their new Xbox.
Is that you?
That is me, RJ. You want to come say hi?
Oh.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello. This is the Bry-Fy podcast, and you're RJ. Are you RJ Florigato?
No, I'm not Forgato. I am Mermaid.
RJ Mermaid.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to finish talking, okay?
Alright.
You want to tell everyone bye?
Bye.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks. It's so adorable. But Xbox, with their new console coming out that so far has been called Project Helix, they have decided that it looks like they're going to keep physical media a part of Project Helix, which is great. What it also seems like they're trying to do is bring the Xbox library to PC. So it seems like bring PC to Xbox in a way. So Project Helix, which I've been really confused on when it was first announced to now, because I wasn't sure, is this really like a Steam machine that will play Xbox games, or is it the other way around? And so far it was kind of flippity floppity, but in this recent interview with The Verge, Microsoft has said Helix will play PC games. So what they plan on doing and what they've announced is they want to start bringing original Xbox and Xbox 360 games to the PC. So that way they can make it a kind of like an easier transition, because now since they're considered PC titles, it would be easier to get them to Project Helix versus, I guess, the backwards compatibility that it would take to allow Helix to play 360 games. I don't know. I'm still, as I'm trying to explain it, it sounds really confusing. But Microsoft seems like they're trying to do good by giving us the older Xbox library and still giving us a physical space for games. And, it looks like they are really trying to capitalize on Sony's fumble. And I hope they do, because I've been an Xbox fanboy for a very, very long time, and I would really hate to have wasted all that money. But yeah, we'll see how that all plays out, man. We'll see who will win in the console wars. Maybe a Sega Genesis will come back. I doubt it, but that would be great if a Sega Genesis just popped up for 2028, 2027, and they were just like, we're back, bitches. That's not going to happen. And then the Steam machine should be rolling out pretty damn soon if it hasn't already. I think I've seen some videos on people getting them early. I believe right now they're like $1,100 without the controller. That's another $100 that you have to pay. But I think you can put a Xbox controller, hook it up to it, or any normal Bluetooth controller that you own. So if you own a controller, it's not really that big of a deal. But you are shelling out $1,100 for a console, which is kind of crazy. But now that we've seen a rise in console prices where they're getting closer to $800, what's another $300? for something that's supposedly upgradable, a little more customizable, and honestly might look a little bit cooler on your desk. So who knows? We'll see how that plays out. I can't wait to see more people talk about the Steam Machine as it rolls out more and more. I'm still on the fence about it, man. I think for me, in the style of gaming that I do, a Steam Machine like that is not like the Steam Box. Is not really what I'm looking for. I think I'm looking more handheld, but I mean, I do enjoy sit down gaming at the house, but that's what I have the Xbox Series X for, right? So I don't know, man. We'll see. But that is all that we have for the nifty nerd news, guys. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about what I've been doing this past week. We'll talk. You know what? Let's talk about some Halo, man. Even though I haven't finished the game, let's talk a little bit about Halo Campaign Evolved, because it's about damn time, man. So Campaign Evolved has been out for 2 weeks now, maybe a little more than 2 weeks. I have played halfway through. I have yet to play the Flood missions. I have gotten up to where we're about to start the Flood missions, and I have stopped. But from what I have heard, this is when the game gets great. And, you know, as someone who played the original Halo game, Combat Evolved, this is when my fun little sci-fi shooter took a turn, and I stopped playing the game at night because it went full horror game on me, and I was not ready for it. And now, in 2026, when I know what's coming, and I know the graphics have been improved, and I know the levels have been improved, and it's probably going to be way more scarier than when I first played it, I know better. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it at night. I'm going to wait till it's the middle of the day, so when I'm off and don't have anything going on, kids are about to be back in school, I'll have plenty of time to play it then and stream it, so that way I'm not alone. Like, I'm excited for it, man. What I've loved most about Campaign Evolved, one has been the graphics. The graphics is such a huge improvement. It looks beautiful. It's so much fun to play. I've actually enjoyed the voice acting. I know a lot of people have come out to say that they don't like it, but I do like it because, I mean, I get it. When the Master Chief, Cortana, all of them were first introduced to us, they were in a very different place than coming through what they've been through, right? Like where we are now. But because of Halo Infinite, 4, and all those, like, because I know the history of Master Chief and Cortana, because I know like where their future goes, this is kind of nice to see them, how they interact and see how the characters are now, like how they have grown. Like, this wasn't meant, I mean, yes, this was like a reboot in a way, but at the same time, I don't feel like it was meant to be just a one-for-one reboot of like, hey, let's put this game exactly how you remember it, just with a new skin. No, that's what the Master Chief Collection was. The Master Chief Collection was a reskinned, upgraded graphics of the original game that we know and love so much. And if that's what you really wanted, go play the Master Chief Collection. That's what it's there for. The Campaign Evolved version of Halo Combat Evolved was, I really feel like, a love letter to what the Halo franchise was, and to show you kind of like a proof of purchase, like, hey, this is where Halo can be now moving forward. So in a way, yes, it is the original game remade, but at the same time, I feel like it's more of an homage to the original game made and not a recreation of the original game made. So that's why I'm not really upset by the voice acting. That's why I'm not really upset by how the characters are acting personality-wise, because I love them. I love these characters. I love where they're at. I would... I don't know. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's really not that big of a deal breaker to me for the cutscenes and things like that. I will say for me, it's all about the gameplay, man. And the gameplay is, to me, fucking sick. It is great. The updated sounds are awesome. I like my favorite thing so far, and I think I talked about it in my first couple of streams, is there's so much weight to the guns now. Like there's so much oomph and firepower. Like back then you're unloading a 60 round clip into a elite just to like break its shield and then kill it with a pistol, you know? And, you know, as the games progress, like, yeah, this assault rifle is supposed to be more badass and be able to take down elites. In this version of Halo and Campaign Evolved, the assault rifle feels beefy. It feels like it takes down elites. Like it feels like what a alien killer gun should feel like. And having the ability to use like SMGs, the battle rifle, which was in the prequel games or the prequel missions. Like the prequel missions were kind of fun too. But all these guns and weapons have oomph to them, and so you feel more powerful. Like I like how these guns feel and how it plays. I just like the game, man. Like I feel like a Spartan playing this game. The run feature's cool. I don't think it's game break. Some people have been like, oh, I hate it. It's absolute game break. No, it's not. Like, yes, it's a little bit faster, but it's not like crazy speed fast, you know? Like I will say there's one thing I thought I could do in the game that I can't do, and it's kind of bugged me. It's the run and slide. I keep trying to do it because like you could do it in other games. It is not working here, and I keep like jacking it up and then getting shot. It's kind of funny. But it's great, man. I really enjoyed this game so much. I've had fun getting to see these levels like it's not even reskin. They're just redesigned. Like they have the familiarity to them, but you know, they do have added features and a little bit of upgrades to it. One of the things I was like so happy about was in the silent cartographer mission. That's when you come to the island. It has like the storm the beach part of the mission, and then you get on a warthog and drive around the island. One of my favorite things to do back in the old games was take a warthog, drive it up the side of a cliff past you had to kind of like squeeze it through some rocks and a tree, and you could get up and like run over hunters with it. Well, they knew, hey, everyone wants to drive the warthog up there to the hunters, so they made the path a lot easier to get to. And so it's a lot easier to travel. It's a lot easier to get up there and do that. So like the guys and women, the men and women that have gone on to make this game have done it with like us in mind. You know, they've brought these things to life with the players in mind, and I think they had great intentions for this game. And I know there's a lot of haters out there because there just always is, but I absolutely love this game, man. And of course, like it's just so much fun to play. It's so much fun to be able to aim down the sights. You know, that's like one of my biggest pet peeves is not being able to aim down sights in the old games. Like as I was going through the Master Chief collection, like it's such a weird feeling, man, because like games nowadays, you always aim down the sights, you always sprint. And so not having those and now having those, it's such a night and day thing. Like, so I love it. I think it's great. I love what this brings to the table. I will say, and I absolutely agree with this one point that people have been talking about. For the price point, we could have gotten so much more. We've used the Master Chief Collection multiple times as an example in this short podcast. But for the same price, the Master Chief Collection gave me Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, ODST, Halo Reach, and is that it? Does it stop there? I don't know. We get 5 games, minimum 5 games, and multiplayer. This game deserves to have a multiplayer. They need to update it. They need to patch it or something. Yes, you can co-op multiplayer this game, and that's great, but there needs to be a PvP multiplayer for this, because that's true Halo to its core, is killing your friends and yelling at each other and having fun like that. That is my biggest pet peeve with this. Hopefully they fix it in a patch or an update, because that would just, that would be the icing on the cake, right? Give me the classic Halo maps, reskinned, redone, whatever you have to do. And I don't need a full crazy multiplayer special. Like, I don't need what Infinite does or anything like that. I just want classic old school Halo, Slayer, Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, Oddball, King of the Hill, like all the old classics. And that's all I want. I don't even want a Forge mode. It would be great, but I don't want it. Like, I don't need it. I just want the old feelings back. I just want the nostalgia back, man. So that to me is my biggest pet peeve with the game, and that's the only thing that I really concede on as far as like an actual criticism. Like, we're paying a lot for just a campaign, man. It would have been nice to have some PvP multiplayer thrown in. But on the whole, where do I feel with Combat Evolved? I like it, man. I you know what? For someone who is a fan of Halo and a fan of to see where the franchise could potentially go, I think it's worth getting. I think this is definitely worth purchasing and playing and seeing it. If you have Game Pass, I believe you can download it and play it for free. If you have premium or whatever, definitely worth it then if you're already paying for stuff like that. But like, if you're just kind of on the fence, like, I don't know, I'm not sure, man, I still say get it. Like if you loved playing the first Halo and enjoy, like the newer game mechanics, I think you're going to love it. I think it's a great balance of what's now and what was then, and blending them together and giving you a similar but new experience. So as far as rating goes, for me, it gets a positive charge, man. Check it out. I think it's badass. I'm a huge fan of Halo. So, of course, I think it was always going to be worth it to me. But getting to play it and have fun with it only solidified for me how great this game really is. And so I've been really enjoying it. And I think you guys would too. But please give me a multiplayer. That's really all I want. Anyway, that's all I got this week for the Bry-Fy podcast. Wow, I talked way longer than I thought. I feel like I do that every week now. I need to cut back somewhere. I just, I went on this little glaze fest of Halo Campaign Evolved, and I just couldn't stop myself. No. Anyway, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week. Bry-Fy out.